Hello everybody and welcome to my world of Fallout 4. Here we're approaching the back entrance to the Jamaica Plains location. In my walkthrough, this has become the Mercer safe house. This was the first place the railroad sent me to set up a safe house for their organization. As you can see right from this corner, let's start right off talking about defense. We have two missile turrets. Their placement is on the turret stands that come with the Covenant walls. As I use the USO, I believe that they are in that toolkit. These turret stands are not plug-and-play friendly. You basically put them on the ground where they lay flat and use the pillar glitch to group select them and pick them up, put them up on the wall where you want them. And once they're in place, they will accept a turret just being settled down on top of them. You do not need to do anything special for that aspect. As you can see, as I said, there are two missile turrets here. Their arc of coverage is from basically anything that comes from that bus all the way around to down that street. Considering you'll also notice that there are a large number of machine gun turrets here, this gives a good amount of coverage with missile turrets to decrease the possibility of an attack on this site. As we move our way around, you'll see the turret stands that I learned how to make at Sardeliak's stream. Quick, dirty, get them up in a hurry. You'll see that I used the brick texture with the barn pieces to finish this building. I like the idea that we may have rescued the rubble from inside this building to rebuild the walls. As we move further along, you'll see another water pump. I like to make sure that there's enough water to at least deal with 9 or 10 settlers. And although I did not try to put settlers here, the game actually sent me some settlers. You will find 2 settlers wandering around here. They showed up, and the safe house guy doesn't seem to care about them, so we're good. Again, those turret stands put in place with the pillar glitch, they really look like they belong here. As I've said in the past, I do use mods with my walkthroughs. In my gameplay, I use USO, I also use Settlement Areas Extended, and as you see here, the extended settlement area, normally the settlement ends at this door frame, but the extended settlement area allowed me to put this turret at ground level, but inside this building. So I know that when we first come here, there's a lot of ghouls that come down this street, and they'll come up through these doorways, through this big old hole in the wall, and come flooding through this door. So I figured that would be a smart place to put a turret. And here we have a turret facing out into the street on one of the stands from Covenant. Here is the third missile turret. As you can see, it gives a nice range of coverage. If something were to get in a position over there where it was attacking, it could potentially get hit by 2 or possibly all 3 of the missile turrets. Anything that came across the churchyard would get hit by the missile turret. And of course, multiple machine gun turrets in order to keep our perimeter safe. This location is, as I said, the not Randolph safe house, it's the Mercer safe house. So I wanted to give it the idea that this is a spot where, if it were attacked, the people here would have a better than even chance of surviving. As you can see right here, I put my fusion generator and rug glitched it right into this location. The advantage of that being that it keeps it out of sight, but I can still access it from the end if it were damaged in an attack. I would be able to repair it, and of course the wire comes right out the window down to this pylon, and from this pylon is where it distributes to the rest of the site. It's hard to see, but if you look inside that pylon, the wire goes almost straight down to this, where it spiders out to the rest of the site. It is my intention to keep the wiring as hidden as possible, not that it shouldn't be around, but I like to keep things looking neat. As we come around here to the house itself, I'll take you inside. You can see that the whole house is powered. And this nice place, all the lights that were in place here, I just put the same light fixtures in that were here previously. I just replaced them with working versions. And the upstairs has some simple bedding. Nothing too fancy. I didn't even remove the crib or the changing stand. I just wanted to leave it as is. But as you can see, I blocked off that hole in the wall so that this is no longer a single large building, but two separate buildings. And then as we move our way through, I'll take you into the workshop, which is probably the most intensive portion of this build. You see I put one of the end caps for this type of thick wall that's bumped out up as a window patch over these holes. I just pillar glitched that into place. This location, I was able to hook this pillar on this end to it, but it wouldn't allow me to do one on the other end. So I actually had to finagle this floor piece in underneath it, and then attach the stair to it. But it made an entrance that was a little bit more enclosed than just an open door. For whatever reason, I was completely unable to rug glitch a door into this frame convincingly in this playthrough. Even with 2 or 3 rugs, which I couldn't have left behind without it looking bizarre, I was getting it, it was turning red on me whenever I got it actually in the door frame. As you can see, the damage to the floor in here I've covered over with concrete flooring, and in this case, this piece of concrete flooring we're standing on, this one right here, was the first one I put in place, and then I snapped that one to it, and I would move back and forth to find the exact location as close as I could get it to this wall, because I wanted it to feel like somebody had perhaps gotten a hold of some concrete and just laid a big old patch on this floor. So we managed to get the lower floor done, and as you can see, the brick texture pack for the barn walls, not a exact match on the brick style, nor is it inside the wall area when you put them in place, but it allowed me to just put them up against the wall without having to worry about trying to glitch them in or finagle them in. It worked really well in that regard. As many of you know from this location, this floor upstairs is, well, you can see right where it's broken. It's a very difficult floor to work with, especially if you're using the Scrap That Settlement mod. It's difficult to sink through floors, but it was actually somewhat beneficial because this particular floor, if I recall correctly, it was this piece that I was able to lay down, and it was green right from the go as I made it to the edge of this floor. Just before it would fall off and go down to the lower level, it turned green for just a second, and I had to finagle it back and forth a little bit. But once I got it in place and then snapped it, or put it in place, then I was able to snap the rest of the floor to it. And as I snapped the rest of the floor to it, you could see from downstairs, it actually fits inside the flooring. It's above the lower part of the floor, but below the top of the floor. And I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. It really, to me anyway, it really feels like somebody did some repair work and got this place back up and running. And one of the nicest things about that was I was able to snap this wall directly to the floor. And then, of course, this wall. And then this wall. All the way around. The regular height barn walls are all around this room. And through using them, it shut off the entirety of the room. The roof is actually attached over at this end and then attached to itself through the rest of the room. As you no doubt noticed, this end doesn't have the normal eaves pieces. Because of how close the other building is, the roof could not have the eaves pieces snapped to it. A whole lot of surfaces colliding on this side. It was actually a little bit difficult pillar glitching these angled wall pieces into place, but I did manage to get it done as I wanted to, and it really made it look like the place has been rebuilt with a purpose. I didn't go out of my way to decorate, really. I wanted it to be as very plain, the kind of place that somebody stays at for a couple of days. They have a bag in their hand with their essentials, and they leave with it. So that's the Mercer safe house aspect of this build. I might add a few things here or there, but the only thing I really I haven't found yet, but I think is part of the USO kit, is the decals. I want to find a railroad decal to put on the building somewhere. Now if you come through this barn door, out into the open. It's a nice spot to sit out in the sun, or perhaps under a starry night, have a drink. Got a couple of folding chairs we found locally and a table. And of course, this makes a excellent second way out if somebody came in through the downstairs. You can escape through here and be off into Jamaica Plain, or go up those stairs over there and head for Quincy. So here we have Jamaica Plain, also Mercer Safe House. I hope you've enjoyed my tour of it. If you have any suggestions for improvements or additional steps I could take, I would be very happy to hear them. As I said, the game sent settlers here without me sending anybody here at all. Normally, from what I understand, when it's a safe house, you only get that guy there. He's the railroad concierge. He sets up the missions to help us escape synth, get clear. You can talk to him repeatedly throughout the game, and he has that mission. It's a radiant, but I'm not sure if it's how often it comes up. Here's a quick look up between the two buildings. You can see how close they matched. The roof just barely overlaps over to it, but created a lot of surfaces, a lot of, I guess, mesh that it was interacting with to try and put the eaves in, so I ended up having to do it the way I showed you. But yes, this is the Jamaica Plain that I have in my playthrough at this time. As a safe house for the railroad, it is not the configuration I would have used for a settlement. I probably would have planned on a lot more people if it was going to be a settlement.
Huh?
But I hope that you enjoyed the tour. I hope that my building gave you some ideas for your own builds. And if there's anything you'd like to tell me about my build, criticism or compliment, I'm open to everything. I learn a lot from you, and I hope that you're having great games on your own. Thanks for spending time with me today, and enjoy your gaming.